About anything they can get their hands on. To cut down on crime and antisocial behaviour, the police and other agencies are using new tactics and technology, so the bad guys get caught in the act.
CCTV is gold dust.
Great evidence for the police.
Gotta have them stopped.
Local councils, shops and businesses are laying some traps of their own.
The eureka moment when you get that evidence.
And the general public too can help unsuspecting crooks get their comeuppance.
People won't stand by.
I couldn't sit back and do nothing.
Yes, we've got her.
So, anyone who's up to no good had better think twice. They might just get caught red-handed. Today, a terrifying ordeal for a grandmother when a robber forces his way into her home.
I thought I was going to die. In your own house at 11 o'clock at morning.
But she bravely puts up a fight.
I said, get out.
Also today, 2 garden gates. Over one of them, a parcel courier tries out her own special form of airmail delivery. And over another gate, he's not delivering anything. He's a burglar, determined to take whatever he can. He tries to karate kick a paving slab in half to throw through the window, but then he tries the whole slab. Eccles in Greater Manchester. On her way back from collecting her pension, 76-year-old Shirley realises she's being followed by this man. And just a few minutes later, police receive a terrified 999 call.
Police emergency, can I help you?
I've just been robbed in my own house. I opened the door and they bursted in. And I'm having a panic attack.
Oh, no, just stay on the phone to me.
Oh, God.
All right, it's all right.
The robber runs off. And it's not the first time he's struck in this neighbourhood. A week before, the same man snatched a mobile phone. The locals are on the alert for him. His picture's been circulated around the area.
They all look out for each other, and when something like this happens to one of their own, they don't like it.
But then there's an extraordinary turn of events for one of the local bobbies.
It's a set of circumstances, and that's probably never going to happen again in my career. A 1 in a million chance.
Eccles is famous for its small round currant cakes. The people here are proud of their town and they're a close-knit community. Eccles is on the patch of Detective Constable Paul Davies and Police Constable Simon Quinn of Greater Manchester Police.
Eccles, it's an extremely diverse community with people from all different walks of life.
It's certainly a community where everyone looks out for each other.
The residents of Eccles have created a social media site where they can share news about life in the town.
There is a really good community spirit between the residents.
One of those residents, Eccles born and bred, is a 76-year-old woman we'll just call Shirley. She's asked us not to give her real name or show her face. She's lived here in the same house for over 30 years.
And we was quite happy. It was the first house we'd ever had. And as time went on, of course, the children got married and left. And just me and my husband. My husband died and then it was just me. I like it. The neighbours are nice. If you need a bit of help, they'll help you.
And there's an example of how the locals help each other when 2 crimes happen there within days of each other. The first happens one Monday morning in January. A man snatches a mobile phone from a woman in the street. It's witnessed by 2 young women driving past. They manage to take a photo of the thief before he runs off. The girls contact the police and post a picture on the Eccles social media page. PC Simon Quinn happens to see it on his day off.
Even though I was off duty, because it had happened on my area, I did feel quite responsible for the fact that there was somebody running around stealing property from people.
Simon takes a good look at the thief's face and clothing.
I made it a bit of a personal task to just keep an eye out in the area.
And it's just as well he does, because not long afterwards, there's a more serious crime committed, and this time, Shirley is the victim. It's a week later. A CCTV camera shows Shirley on her way to the local shops.
Pension day, I was going to the post office
Further up on the road, the post office manager is sitting outside his shop in his car when he notices a man hanging around. Thinking the man's acting suspiciously, he films him on his phone.
Postmaster, he was parked up, waiting to go to another shop that he owns. There's been the mobile phone theft the week before, so everyone's on high alert. So he decides to take a mobile phone video of him loitering about.
While this is going on, Shirley has arrived at the shop.
I went in the post office, I got my pension.
When Shirley leaves, she too notices the man. She thinks he's behaving oddly and feels uneasy about him.
So I thought, well, I'll stay behind him, and it disappeared. So I passed the shops, I thought, well, I've got this van, I might as well keep going.
But the man hasn't disappeared. He's just crossed the road. This shop camera shows him walking very slowly along the street because he's stalking Shirley. A few minutes later, she reaches her front door and goes inside.
Took my shoes off, took my coat off, and the door went.
To her horror, when Shirley opens the door, it's that same man. He's followed her home.
So I was closing the door and he was pushing it one way and I was pushing it another.
It's a terrifying moment.
It was just no contest for him.
The man forces his way in and pushes Shirley against the wall. He demands money, but Shirley stands up to him.
And I said, get out. I don't think he was prepared for someone to say get out.
Shirley bravely resists, and he gives up on getting cash. But then suddenly he makes a grab for her neck.
I thought I was going to die. In my own house at 11 o'clock at morning.
The man snatches 2 gold necklaces Shirley's wearing and then leaves. A shop's CCTV camera shows him running away back up the street.
I just had to get him out of the house.
Shirley is in a state of shock, but manages to call 999.
Police emergency, can I help you?
I've just been robbed in my own house. I opened the door and they bursted in. And I'm having a panic attack.
No, just stay on the phone to me.
Oh, God.
All right, it's all right.
While Shirley is talking on the phone, the CCTV shows the robber turns down a side road. At the other end of that street, PC Simon Quinn is out on patrol. News of Shirley's robbery hasn't come over the radio yet. But he's still on the lookout for the thief who stole the phone a week earlier. And when Simon sees a man running towards him, he looks just like the picture of the phone thief.
I immediately recognised him. His face was the same.
Simon gets out and stops the man.
I asked him if he had any identification. He handed me a passport.
The man is 26-year-old Alexandras Bogdanovich.
Because I was happy it was the same male, I subsequently arrested him.
That's for the theft of the phone. But then, over the radio, Simon hears reports of Shirley's robbery just around the corner. Could it be the same man?
And as we got further information, it became more and more plausible that the male who I'd arrested was the male responsible.
It's an extraordinary turn of events. A man being arrested for one crime while he's making his getaway from another. DC Paul Davies hears about it when he's on his way to the scene.
When he shouts up on the radio that this lad just literally ran into his arms. Unreal. Talk about right place at the right time.
They've got their prime suspect, but he's adamant it's a case of mistaken identity. Meanwhile, Paul and a forensics team have been to Shirley's house.
I've been seeing the shock in the lady's face. I was determined more than ever to get him.
Shirley is shaken after the robbery.
I was frightened. At night, going to bed, it really is frightening.
Watching back the CCTV, Paul is shocked by the robber's callous planning.
He's targeted from the minute he's seen her on that junction. Almost like an animal waiting to prey.
He pulls together the evidence. The clothes the robber was wearing when he was arrested match the clothes of the man in the CCTV, though his face is not clearly visible. But the postmaster's mobile phone footage does reveal the robber's face. It's Bogdanovich.
It is great. It showed his face. That's how key this footage is. When I'm interviewing, like I said, that's you.
And when the forensic team find a footprint in Shirley's garden, it matches his trainers. But despite the evidence against him, he still continues to protest his innocence.
Throughout this, he pleaded not guilty. He took it all the way to trial.
But finally, in court, when he takes the stand,
He changed his mind after the trial had started and pleaded guilty. I don't think the judge took kindly to that.
For robbery and theft, Bogdanovich is given 7.5 years in prison. thanks to the police working together with the people of Eccles.
Without their help, we wouldn't have got him. The postmaster and the girls who had the presence of mind to take a photograph of him, because that's the chain of events that led us to him.
I was quite happy on getting him off the streets, and that's something I'm actually quite proud of.
To show their support, Shirley received messages, flowers and gifts from local people.
The neighbours was lovely, there was, honest to God. These girls at the shop here, they sent me this box with perfume things in, like bath things. It was just nice of people.
Delivery companies often ask you where they can leave your parcel if you're not in. Well, let's hope you don't get this particular courier. Her idea of a special delivery is rather far from first class. Expecting a parcel, the house owner has said if he's out, it can be left by the shed. But this courier doesn't even try the gate. Instead, she just lobs it over. Fortunately, it's not fine china. Even so, the customer's not happy to find his new shoes lying in the drive and posts this video online. It gets viewed thousands of times. Keen to stamp out this sort of thing, the company apologises to the customer and has sent a refund for the shoes. As for this careless courier, she might be in danger of getting the boot. Coming up, a burglar thinks stealing from a farm will be easy. But farmers are used to dealing with rogue animals.
Back to the old rugby days, I rugby tackled him onto the floor.
One mucky, muddy scuffle later, and this rogue's rounded up and put in a pen. Most CCTV cameras are in plain sight, but even so, some criminals are so intent on their crime, they fail to realise their every move is being recorded. Stourbridge in the West Midlands. It's early afternoon. A man is apparently delivering circulars, but he's not. He's a burglar, and what happens next is shocking. He vaults the gate and breaks in.
You wouldn't believe that somebody could ransack your house in 12 minutes. All my underwear and everything thrown out the drawers onto the floor. It's just horrendous.
But her son posts footage from his cameras on the internet.
And within 1 week, it had got over 10,000 views. And I thought, somebody's got to know who he is.
Stourbridge, near Dudley in the West Midlands, is home to Anne, her son Jay, and dog Poppy.
Stourbridge is a lovely area. It's really nice. Lived here all my life, so...
They've lived in this particular house for a few years. Anne goes out to work, but Jay runs his business from home. Something of a tech expert, he fixes laptops for a living.
I do computer repairs, basically. I've been doing it for the last couple of years. I used to run pubs, but there's no money in pubs these days, so I had to go to something else which I knew how to do. It works okay.
Not long ago, Jay helped his neighbours put up a CCTV system.
Just recently there has been a lot of break-ins on the area.
Jay's so impressed with the CCTV cameras he's put in for the neighbours, he decides to get some too.
Mum thought it was a waste of time and money, basically, but I seen the quality of it, and I thought, I'm going to get myself a system.
And the cameras provide vital evidence when one day the house does get raided. It's early on a Wednesday afternoon. Anne and Jay have gone with their dog Poppy over to the grandparents.
We left my nan and granddad's. On the way back, Mum was running late for work, so she dropped me off at the top of the road, and then so I walked down the road.
Jay's been out for a couple of hours. Since then, the bins have been emptied.
I was getting next door's wheelie bin in, and I've looked at my gate, and I could see it ajar a little bit, and I was like, I haven't left my gate open. Pushed the gate, and I've seen the back door glass smashed. I was like, no way. Shocking.
Jay rushes in. He has no idea if there's an intruder still inside.
It was a bit of a nervous thing, really, but I am quite a big lad, so I think he would have come off a little bit worse than myself personally, but it's not nice knowing someone's been in your house.
But the burglar's disappeared. Jay calls the police, then his mum.
And he says, Mum, we've been broke into. I'm like, you're joking. Like, you know, you do. And no, we've been broke. So I drove home. I don't know how I drove home, because I was like... And as I come into the house, glass everywhere, and then looking around the house, you could see my bedroom, all my drawers had been opened, and all my underwear and everything thrown out the drawers onto the floor. It's just horrendous.
Jay goes straight to check his CCTV footage.
Basically, see this chap walking down the road, and you can see my bins out, so I knew nobody was in because you'd get your bin in. And then basically cuts across there with like a piece of paper in his hand, like a flyer.
The man knocks on the door and rings the bell. Once he's sure no one's home, he goes to the side gate.
And then he takes the jump over the gate. It's a 6-foot gate, jumps straight over, boom.
The back door's locked, so the man looks around for something to smash the window. First, he picks up a small garden trowel and tries that.
He even picks up the recycling bag to shield the glass from cutting himself.
But the trowel doesn't work. He decides to use a paving slab instead. From then on, things go more quickly.
Then he tries to do his Jackie Chan impression by trying to break the slab in half. That's not having it. And then whack, whack, 3 smashes, he's in.
You wouldn't believe that somebody could ransack your house in 12 minutes. Oh, it's just a horrible feeling.
The burglar leaves just a few minutes before Jay returns.
When we calmed down and noticed things had gone, it was my laptop, my iPad, which my mum and dad had brought me, and my watch was stolen. It got no value to it, but it was bought for me by my late husband, so that can never be replaced.
The thief has also snatched Jay's laptop, some phones, cash, and some of his customers' equipment too.
He stole 2 laptops what I was repairing. There was stuff on there that you think is going to be safe, which you've lost it for life now if it's not backed up anywhere.
To make things worse, Anne and Jay aren't insured against theft.
You just think it's another payment, so you let it go. It'll never happen to me.
The police arrive, but they find few clues. Jay decides to start a campaign himself to try to discover the burglar's identity. He alerts pawnbrokers in the area to keep watch for the man. He then posts the footage on the internet.
I thought somebody's got to know who he is, and basically I thought I'd make him that famous it'd be hard for him to sell the stuff, and he wouldn't even want to go out the house. And within 1 week it had got over 10,000 views.
Various names are suggested, but then the police receive an anonymous phone call with crucial information.
They got told who it was, they could ID him down to a T, so then they later arrest him. He said it wasn't him to start with, and they're showing the CCTV footage. Anyway, can't lie no more, it was me. Hands up.
I really was glad when they said that they'd arrested him. It was like, yes, definitely.
In court, the burglar is sentenced to 4 years in prison. Fortunately, Anne's tablet is recovered, although their other valuables are still missing. Jay's now splashed out on a house alarm and even more cameras.
If it wasn't for the cameras, he would have been walking free, doing other people's houses. The chap doesn't think about who's actually hurting. Could have been an elderly person here, so it's a good thing that he's banged up now.
And Anne's now a camera convert.
When he first brought the CCTV, I thought, what a waste of money. But, oh my God, it does help. It was the best thing he's ever brought.
As we've seen, some burglars will go to great lengths to break into a house, but most thieves are opportunistic. There are some simple things we can do to help keep our home secure.
You need to look at your own home through the eyes of the thief or the burglar. So look at it and think, well, if I had a gravel drive, would the burglar actually want people to hear them coming up the path?
There are certain things that you can do relatively cheaply that means that the lights will come on, they'll stay on, it looks like your house is occupied.
So as well as lights that you can get on a timer switch, you can also get something that's a fake TV light, and it offers a flickering light so the person outside thinks that your TV's on in someone's home.
A burglar will look for any opportunity to pick up items in your garden that'll help them to force entry to your property. The last thing they want is to be stopped en route to your home with the tools to do the job before the crime's been committed. They will be arrested for going equipped.
So what they'll do is they'll often break into your workshop or your shed, use the tools from that, or anything you leave in the garden to break into your property. So don't give them that opportunity.
Thieves don't just target towns and cities, they can strike in the countryside too, which is why police and farmers are getting together to use technology to crack down on rural crime. Gwent, South Wales. This man on a push bike is a burglar. He's riding round the countryside stealing from farms. Maybe he thinks a remote rural area like this means easy pickings. But he's about to find out how local farmers and the police have joined forces to fight crime.
The intelligence coming from farmers, it's like having 1,000 extra pairs of eyes out there.
Andrew has had a tip-off that his farm is the burglar's next target.
Obviously, he's coming in with the intent of causing some trouble, and I'm always nervous about my own safety when you come face to face with someone you don't know.
But Andrew has Benson as backup, and together they are going to try to stop the intruder before he strikes again. The peaceful countryside of Gwent is where local farmer Andrew grew up, and he has worked on this land most of his life.
Love being outdoors. The opportunity of a job in the countryside came locally, and I jumped at it. Eventually bought the grounds about 6 years ago, and just never looked back. Absolutely love it here.
Andrew's love of the Welsh countryside isn't the only thing that runs in his blood. His family also has a history of law enforcement. His father was once part of the security team that protected Prince Charles.
My father was a policeman, and my grandfather was one of the bosses in the flying squad in London. So we don't like our robbers in our family.
Crime can be a problem in rural areas, not just big cities. So some farmers have invested in CCTV and other security systems. Andrew has trained his dog Benson as extra protection.
Benson, he's a lovable character, but walking around on your own, you're quite vulnerable. So if I'm threatened or anything, Benson is there, he's going to look after me.
And extra help with security is at hand from local community support officer Alan Mills. He has a special understanding of rural crime because he lives on a farm himself.
Living in that background, I can see what's happening on farms. Now, I can get anything from trout being stolen overnight, being poached, to a JCB worth £100,000 being stolen. It could be anything.
It's difficult to police such vast areas. So the Gwent Force has brought in a system called Farm Watch, where police and farmers connect via email and text, sharing information about local crime and criminals. Alan is its coordinator.
I think I've got nearly 1,000 farms on Farm Watch. It's like having 1,000 extra pairs of eyes out there, like having an extra 1,000, officers out there on the beat.
And recently, Andrew, Benson and Alan found out how useful Farm Watch can be. Early one January morning, a stranger arrives at a farm near Andrew's. He rides in on what turns out to be a stolen bike. He's unaware the farm has CCTV, and believing there's no one around, he takes his time, spending several minutes looking for valuables in these cars. Finding nothing, he heads towards a stable block. But that's a mistake, because it means he gets noticed.
These cameras, they actually go through to the farmer's phone as well, so he can look at this actually live on his phone.
On the other side of the field, the farmer checks his phone and sees he has an intruder. He calls 999, and then he sees the man walk out of the stables wearing his wife's expensive fluorescent riding coat.
This is the part that infuriated the farmer more than anything else, because he's now got personal. He's now taken something from his wife.
The burglar leaves, but a few minutes later the farmer confronts him off camera.
The farmer grabs all the jacket, the farmer's got the jacket, then the offender makes off.
But the farmer's noticed the thief is heading towards the land belonging to his neighbour, Andrew. And Farm Watch goes into action.
Obviously, he'd phoned 999 already. I need to get in touch with my colleagues. I need to coordinate them to go to the correct area. And I know he's got to go past Andrew's land.
Alan warns Andrew there's a burglar on the way over.
Obviously, he's not coming to wish you well. He's coming in with the intent of causing some trouble and damage.
Andrew takes Benson with him and goes to investigate. And his suspicions are confirmed. He catches the thief in the act of stealing from one of his outbuildings.
So at that point, I'm thinking, right, how am I going to approach this? What's going to happen here? Guy's made an advance towards me. Benson's pulled out of my hands. He doesn't want to bite the guy. He wants to make his feelings known. He can bark. He's got a loud voice.
Confronted by Benson, the burglar spins round and heads towards Andrew.
I'm a big lad. I used to play rugby at Pill Harriers, which is a real good old club with some interesting characters, so I've been trained well and I knew I could get this guy on the floor.
He takes the intruder down, but the thief's not giving up easily. He's well built and he's already escaped the clutches of one farmer.
He's got up again and he's run over into this area here. Back to the old rugby days, I've rugby tackled him onto the floor and we both ended up in this spot here. So he's kicked off again and we've both gone over this drop here, 20 feet down. He's ended up at the bottom with me on top.
Andrew has the man pinned down. When a colleague arrives on the scene, Andrew tells his friend to ring Alan and describe exactly where they are. As minutes go by, Andrew desperately tries to keep hold of the man.
This guy had 10 years on me and I was feeling the pace a little bit. I was starting to puff and blow. But obviously I'm a physical outdoor worker, so I just use my strength just to hold the guy down.
Thankfully, help soon arrives.
The police came, handcuffed the guy. I've been able to relax and catch my breath back a bit, and I feel everything's in control then.
Andrew and the burglar are bleeding and muddy after fighting on the rough ground. Andrew took a risk, but thankfully neither of them has ended up badly hurt.
What Andy done, although it's highly commendable, I don't condone it, but he's a physical man with the benefit of having a guard dog on site. I know 99.9% of the farmers will do the same thing.
In court, 39-year-old Carl Letman is found guilty of burglary and theft and is sentenced to 2 years, 8 months in prison. The rural crime figures in Gwent have improved after 2 years of the Farm Watch scheme.
It's an excellent result because what it does is shows everybody working together. We reduce crime now by 27% on rural areas, and this was the main aim, and it just shows what can be achieved.
Andrew's awarded a commendation for his action, something his father, the police protection officer, would be proud of.
People thought, good job done.
That's it for today. Join us next time when police and the public catch more criminals red-handed.
Alex and Steph are helping a family from Hertfordshire save for a trip to Disneyland in Shopwell for Less at 8 this evening. That's followed at 9 by the celebrities living rough for sport relief in Famous, Rich and Homeless. Up next, it's Bargain Hunt.
Eccles in Greater Manchester. On her way back from collecting her pension, 76-year-old Shirley realises she's being followed by this man. And just a few minutes later, police receive a terrified 999 call.
Police emergency, can I help you?
I've just been robbed in my own house. I opened the door and they bursted in. And I'm having a panic attack.
No, just stay on the phone to me.
Oh, God.
All right, it's all right.
The robber runs off. And it's not the first time he's struck in this neighbourhood. A week before, the same man snatched a mobile phone. The locals are on the alert for him. His picture's been circulated around the area.
They all look out for each other, and when some...
About anything they can get their hands on. To cut down on crime and antisocial behaviour, the police and other agencies are using new tactics and technology, so the bad guys get caught in the act.
CCTV is gold dust.
Great evidence for the police.
Gotta have him stopped.
Local councils, shops and businesses are laying some traps of their own.
The eureka moment when you get that evidence.
And the general public too can help unsuspecting crooks get their comeuppance.
People won't stand by.
I couldn't sit back and do nothing.
Yes, we've got her.
So, anyone who's up to no good had better think twice. They might just get caught red-handed. Today, a terrifying ordeal for a grandmother when a robber forces his way into her home.
I thought I was going to die. In your own house at 11 o'clock at morning.
But she bravely puts up a fight.
I said, get out.
Also today, 2 garden gates. Over one of them, a parcel courier tries out her own special form of airmail delivery. And over another gate, he's not delivering anything. He's a burglar, determined to take whatever he can. He tries to karate kick a paving slab in half to throw through the window. But then he tries the whole slab.
Something like this happens to one of their own. They don't like it.
But then there's an extraordinary turn of events for one of the local bobbies.
It's a set of circumstances, and that's probably never going to happen again in my career. A 1 in a million chance.
Eccles is famous for its small round coloured cakes. The people here are proud of their town and they're a close-knit community. Eccles is on the patch of Detective Constable Paul Davies and Police Constable Simon Quinn of Greater Manchester Police.
Eccles is an extremely diverse community with people from all different walks of life.
It's certainly a community where everyone looks out for each other.
The residents of Eccles have created a social media site where they can share news about life in the town.
There is a really good community spirit between the residents.
One of those residents, Eccles born and bred, is a 76-year-old woman we'll just call Shirley. She's asked us not to give her real name or show her face. She's lived here in the same house for over 30 years.
And we was quite happy. It was the first house we'd ever had. And as time went on, of course, the children got married and left. And just me and my husband. My husband died and then it was just me. I like it. The neighbours are nice. If you need a bit of help, they'll help you.